Sometimes, listeners, our body whispers before it screams. The headache that won't go away, the fatigue that doesn't make any sense, the stomach pain that shows up at the worst times. Just imagine, what if they are not random at all? What if they are messages, not malfunctions? Welcome back, listeners, to the Mindful Living podcast. I'm your host, Sana, and today we are diving deep into the language of the body. How physical symptoms might just be emotional messages waiting to be understood. And listeners, joining me is my lovely guest, Beth Mielbrecht, a health detective who bridges engineering precision with energetic intuition. Through bioenergetic testing and whole body healing, she helps people decode the hidden stories behind their pain, stress, and fatigue. So, listeners, let me tell you that this conversation is about learning to listen to your body, to your emotions, and that deeper intelligence that always guiding you, if only you slow down enough to hear it. And that's what exactly is mindful living, right, listeners? So let's get down to the conversation. And Beth, welcome to the show. And as always, it is such an honor to have you here with us.
Hi, Sana. I'm so happy to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Beth, before we get to the questions and the discussions and everything, I think something which I never knew before getting on to the podcasts, having conversations specifically around the really interesting connection that our mind body has, mind body soul, our emotions. I think our body, it is such a beautiful, like it has its own operating system. Has its own natural intelligence. Our heart, our digestive system, our liver, kidneys, all of them have their own, internal systems. So I think it is such a beautiful and a never ending study to, explore. So I think that is something that I've really started to admire. And with that, Beth, you often say that the body doesn't lie, it communicates. So can you share a moment or a case where a physical symptom revealed something really deeply emotional or energetic underneath?
Yes, this happens often. Sometimes we think that there is a pain in our body, and it is just a pain. It is purely in the muscle or in the joint, but really, there is so much more. And for one of my clients, she had incredible knee pain, and it was so difficult for her to walk up and down the stairs. And she thought it was because she had been a dancer
Mhm.
and she had overused her knees, and it was just the way it was meant to be, and there was nothing anyone could do.
Mhm.
But really, when we started working together, we found out that there was a lack of boundaries, that she had been saying yes to everyone and putting herself last. So she's a mom of 5 children, and she would say yes and take care of them. And she had a demanding job, and she would say yes because she wanted to serve and do her job well. And in her community, everyone looked to her to organize and to gather everyone together. And
Mhm.
she loved doing all of that. So she said yes all the time and literally couldn't move anymore. She would sit in a chair or on the couch, and she just started watching television, and she didn't know, and everything started falling apart because now she couldn't move and she didn't feel good about herself. But when we worked together, we traced it and we were able to work with her body to find out that it was really a lack of boundaries. When she started putting boundaries back in place and
Mhm.
treated herself with the same love and attention she treats her children and her coworkers and her neighbors. She got off the couch. She got out of the chair. She started saying, "I'm going to take a walk today." And first she walked for 1 block, And then she walked around the block. And then she said, I want to go back to dance class. And she went back to dance class. And then she said, I think I would like a new job. And she got a new job. And her life now looks totally different only 5 months later because we took the time to find out what was behind, what was her body trying to say. And if she hadn't been mindful, if she hadn't been willing to question, then she might still be sitting on the couch and she still might be feeling terrible. And who knows what would happen? But instead, she listened.
Wow. I think, when you mentioned about taking care of 5 children, a high demanding job, then community work, I think just hearing that only made me so overwhelmed, like feeling that anxiety. Um, Maybe I haven't been in that position yet, but just hearing it only made me like wonder. I mean, we often call she's a superwoman, or she's uh, she's so proactive in listening to everyone, and she does many things. Uh, and I think like multitasker. Yeah, I think that really really made me very anxious. So I can understand how it really really felt. And Beth, one question comes from this, story that you shared now. Often, um, change not only is difficult or, sometimes really, really overwhelming for us as an individual, but when the people around us who know us, they also see or they also realize that there are changes in patterns, maybe uh, somebody who is always saying yes to everyone, to everything, is now having those boundaries in there. um, it kind of creates this very a huge misconception that, oh, she's now becoming selfish, she's now self-centered, so you are not a good person anymore because you're not doing anything for anyone now, or maybe you're doing less for everyone. How exactly do, especially women or men who are in those circumstances, they can navigate through that?
It can be a challenge. And yet, we cannot give from an empty cup. We have to refill ourselves. And at some point, our family can see that. They can see that we're exhausted. They can see that we don't have joy. They can see that we're sharp or short with others and we don't have patience anymore. And it's unfortunate if it gets to that place, but when it does, then everyone can see that, you know, we need to honor and help us or whoever or this person in our life, whether it is us or it is our sister or our mother or our friend, to take care. And then we offer, can we watch the children? Can we take care of you? Would you like to go outside and take a gentle walk? Would you like to come with me and have an enjoyable lunch somewhere and just relax and do something to refill yourself and have engaging conversation that's not about the chores and the responsibilities. So when we are mindful of it in others, then we can see it in ourselves. And then when we notice it in ourselves, and we notice that I need more sleep or I need a break, and I'm going to take some time with my journal and I'm going to sit outside and write for 30 minutes and just enjoy the sunshine, then we know we can recognize that in others. But sometimes until we see it and we know what it feels like to refill our own cups, we can't see it in other people and then be able to reflect back to them and offer support and encourage them to make time. Yes, setting boundaries can be hard. And so that's why it takes all of us to help one another do that.
Exactly. Exactly. And Beth, we have all heard the phrase that, it's just stress. But from your perspective, what's the difference between normal stress and a body that is signaling something um, deeper or misaligned?
There is a normal amount of stress, but when that never goes away and we're always have a higher heart rate and shallow breathing and a constant tenseness in our muscles,
Mhm.
that doesn't feel good. And that means that we're burning through hormones and our nervous system is on high alert and it tends to wear out our endocrine system and it wears out our nervous system. So the difference becomes, can you metabolize your stress? Think of it as a big festive holiday meal. So there's festive times all over the world, and
Yeah.
everyone knows about how enjoyable it is to come together with family and friends, and there's so much food. So imagine that you are at this one of these times and you are sitting down and you are enjoying so many delicious all these dishes. There's an abundance and you want to try everything and you eat too much and you are full and you say, "Okay, I must stop for the night because I am full." And you have eaten more than you normally eat. Your body needs to metabolize all that food. So you know what to do. You stop eating, you rest. You might skip your next meal. You might take a nap, go to sleep. In the morning, you might wake up and say, I am still not hungry because I ate a big meal and I am still metabolizing that wonderful meal.
Yeah.
Now, stress might not feel wonderful, but we need to metabolize it just the same. And even though stress doesn't go through our stomach and our intestines, it still needs to be metabolized. So, after a period of busyness where things are crazy and hectic, what would you do to metabolize that stress? How could you be mindful about that? Would you say, I need a little more sleep? I need to take some time for myself. I'm going to postpone the cleaning because I need to take a walk. Or I really need to have a conversation with my friend to talk through some of this. How would you metabolize it? Just like you would a big meal. And then you will get back into balance and know what it feels like. And that will help you feel the mindful sensation between regular stress and big eventful stress events.
Hmm. I think that is such an important, I think, very crucial distinction. Yeah, I mean, if and if stress is a messenger, Beth, that what is the healthiest way to respond instead of react? Especially for people living in chronic fight or flight mode every day.
When you're in the middle of or coming out of something very stressful,
Mm-hmm.
think of what your body needs and your mind. And your body has been physically burning through neurotransmitters and hormones, and all of the nutrients in your body are being used up. So now is the time for the healthiest food you could eat. When we're stressed, we might want to reach for chocolate or caffeine or candy or something that might be not so healthy for us, but it tastes good in our mouth. But our
Yeah.
body needs those extra nutrients. It's burning through magnesium. We need more zinc. We need all of those nourishing foods. Eat the fresh vegetables and the fruit. That is something you can do for your body to help replenish. Take care of your sleep. Prioritize that. Take a nap. Maybe you're not sleeping well because you're so stressed. Well, then block out block out 20 minutes for a short nap. It's okay. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of taking care of your body. And then how can you help your mind? Can you listen to chanting or beautiful music? Can you write? Can you journal out your thoughts? Is there someone you trust who will listen? And that's not to dump all of your problems on someone else, but you might have a therapist or a good friend that you do this for one another. But how can you relieve your mind? And then also for your mind, how can you think of what is going well? And how might you take one beautiful step in the right direction? Step outside and look at the sunshine on your face. I live in the north and it gets cold in the winter. And right now we are shifting from autumn and it's getting cooler. So I treasure the sunlight and that is so nourishing to me. If you live somewhere where it's very hot, this might not be nourishing for you, but you will find what is rejuvenating for you. And take one small step towards something pleasurable that will help reset your mind and your body.
Mm, absolutely. And that's really beautiful. That's really, really beautiful. And out of all this, especially when you mentioned about chanting and music, I think for me personally, music is always the first and foremost, like the by default go to way to relieve my stress and uh, bring in mindfulness. Because when I'm listening to a song, whether it gives me the feeling of nostalgia or the feeling of happiness, or even if it's melancholic, it just gets me into the present moment. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not getting anxious. It's just, I'm just going along with the rhythm, the tune, the lyrics, and everything. So, yeah, those are some really beautiful ways, Beth.
Yes, and that helps metabolize those feelings. It's music is so beautiful, and I might sound a little old-fashioned, but I encourage people to listen to either music with no lyrics, no words, or if they are in words, maybe they're in a language you don't understand, but they are beautiful devotionals, or
Mhm.
be careful with words that you listen to. Some popular music, and it's been this way for decades and decades, it's really not what you want to uh, imprint on your mind. they can be quite they can be quite jarring, and they might be make you want to dance, but they are not the sounds, the words, those meanings are maybe not what you want for this particular exercise. Save that for a different time.
I get that. I get yeah. Thank you for putting that because yes, subconsciously or we may not even realize, but our brain is responding to those words. So yeah.
Yes.
Um, and one of the very interesting part of your work is the bioenergetic testing. Like your approach, it combines engineering logic with energy mapping. So if you can explain it in simple terms, like what it is and how it uncovers what traditional lab tests they often miss.
Sure. Yes. Bioenergetic testing is not a phrase that I made up. It has already existed for a long time, and it is part of the field of energy medicine. So, other modalities that are in energy medicine are acupuncture and homeopathy and all kinds of hands-on healing like Reiki or other modalities that are of that type. And bioenergetic testing is a way to ask your body's communication system, what's going on? What's out of balance? What would put you back into balance? And the way I use it, it's a tool. And the way I use it is to ask questions and find out responses because we're all electromagnetic beings. So we all are responding to energy signatures. And I use it to find out very quickly what's going on? What should we focus on first? What is the
Mhm.
root cause? For the example of the client with the 5 children whose knees were giving her so much pain, uh,
Mhm.
it was it would have taken a much longer time to figure out that boundary setting was the root cause of the knee pain. Of course, there are many things we can do to help support joints, but when we got to boundaries very quickly, that was through bioenergetic testing. And then I was able to give her custom homeopathic remedies that had many different signatures in it that were able to emotionally support her. And bioenergetic testing will allow me or any practitioner of this modality to get answers from your body very quickly, bypassing the thinking brain. It works for both physical and emotional. And that's everything that we're talking about today. Mindfulness is knowing that your emotions and your body are all one and tied together.
Wow. Wow. And I really, really, I think I really do understand that, uh, that this definitely bridges science with intuition. It's almost like we are not just scratching the surface level, but we are going down deep. We are reading the body's software, not just its hardware. But then at the same time, that I mean, we do have a time constraint, but I think this has to be discussed. Like the skeptics might ask, like, how can something digitally truly measure emotion or energy? So, what would you say to them, Beth?
Well, it I use this technology. It is digital. I am a mechanical engineer, so I like data. I'm
Mhm.
comfortable with it. I'm also a Reiki master teacher and a homeopath, so I understand the hands-on work of it. It just allows me to go faster and ask questions. So if I wanted to ask the listener who is skeptical some questions, it could be done remotely. It could be done in person. And we don't need to use digital equipment at all. But if you're looking for a blood test to tell you what the root cause of your knee pain is, it's not going to be able to tell you because it's not designed to. It's not checking for that. There is no test for sadness or boundaries or grief in the blood.
Mm,
It's part of your energetic system. So if you're skeptical and you don't understand that you have an energetic body, that everything you experience is a part of your energy field, then this might not be the right approach for you, and that's okay. But if you believe that you can pray for someone and they receive your prayer, and if you believe that you can send a healing intention or you can connect with someone, a loved one, a child who is in college or university and has flown around the world and you wish to connect with that person, you know you can. If you can remember a gentle hug from a loved one who is no longer with you, but you feel it as if it was happening right now, you know
mm,
that there is energy. And if there is energy, then we can use it without any equipment. And yes, we can use digital equipment to help just speed the process along. It never takes the place of the person doing the work,
mhm.
but it is part of modern physics. It's been doing this is work has been happening for over 100 years.
Definitely, definitely. Wonderful, wonderful, Beth. And for further discussion and also to get hold of your resources, if listeners they would like to connect with you, what would be the easiest way?
I think the best way would be to take I have a free quiz. It takes 60 seconds and it gives you my insights on where to start if you wanted to look at your health. And it's a very mindful, thoughtful approach to things you can do to take care of yourself if you don't know where to start. And so you can find that quiz at my website. It's yourhealthwithbeth.com. You'll find a button that says take the quiz. That's it right there.
Super. Listeners, I'll have all the details in the show notes for all of you. And if I can summarize here, like maybe healing isn't about fixing what's broken, listeners. It is understanding what's speaking. And our bodies have always been fluent in truth. We have just forgotten the language. So, Beth, thank you so much for reminding us that every pain, every ache, every bout of fatigue, every imbalance might just be an invitation to listen more deeply. Thank you.
Thank you, Sana.
And to all the listeners out there, next time your body whispers, pause. Ask what it's trying to say. Because beneath the pain might live a message of profound healing. Until next time, stay gentle, stay aware, and keep living mindfully. Thank you.